I'm Justin LeBar. This is Upview. And Rob, who is your favorite Gilmore Girl?
Oh, you want me to answer that? It's Paris, obviously, but she's not a Gilmore, so that doesn't really count. And this is Upview.
Welcome back to another episode of Upview on upgroove.com, the place where everything is trending. Rob Rossi, Justin LeBar.
Watch.
I see the nice watch. Very nice.
Really a new watch. It's a new strap, but it looks new.
It looks new. That's important.
Teaching kids to be economic.
Perception is reality. And I mentioned Gilmore Girls because they're actually part of one of our Upgroove cards from the past weekend. I don't understand this, but
They're two girls, mother and daughter.
yeah, another Gilmore Girls
Named
revival
Gilmore.
looking like a thing. Why is this a big?
Yes!
It's that exciting?
I'm excited. I love me a Gilmore Girls.
Isn't Lauren
revival.
Graham in that?
Yes.
The only reason I know her is because she was Mrs. Santa in Bad Santa. That's how I know that one. I love this. Bride-to-be has a Taco Bell burrito wrapper dress. If you see this, you can go on upgroove.com. You see the Instagram picture that we posted of her. She gets married in a Taco Bell wrapper dress.
Is it made out of wrappers?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Is
Burrito
it got
wrappers.
Does it got like the Taco Bell grease in the wrapper? Because that would be
I would
uncomfortable
hope so.
for a wedding.
It would be.
I would never want to have anything to do with Taco Bell on my wedding day just for fear of
Did you ever watch
discomfort.
Did you ever watch the movie Demolition Man and how they project that Taco Bell?
That's
would be
what you could often describe my
that Taco
experiences
Bell
with Taco
wins
Bell.
the
yeah.
franchise wars. That they're the only thing that's left in the future. And finally, this is more relevant to you than me. Jimmy Buffett opening a Margaritaville retirement home. You're closer to retirement than I am.
They got great Margaritaville guacamole, so that's fine. I'll be there with the Gilmore Girls.
Of course you will be. That's a little bit worrisome. All right, upgroove.com. It's a place where everything is trending. You'll find all kinds of stuff there. You'll also find originals by myself and Rob, as well as Tori Parrish. But Rob, one of our original pieces we have today is we have an exclusive interview that you did with the NHL Commissioner, Mr. Gary Bettman. Before we get to that, let's kind of lead into it, which is talking about number 71, Evgeni Malkin, who, if people aren't aware, you have a more than just a normal reporter-athlete relationship with. You've been to Russia with him. You've helped write a book with him. Talk to me about the Gino relationship.
Well, it basically started, Justin, because nobody in the media would talk to him. They would talk to his interpreter at the time, and I got some advice from Sergei Gonchar one day to, just start talking to Gino in regular English, and it started slow, like, Gino, how was day? And it's been a really good relationship over the years. He's literally taken me to places I never would have imagined, in Moscow, getting to see his hometown. And I think the big thing I can say about Gino is, Justin, which most people miss, is he is incredibly intelligent, speaks parts of 4 different languages. A lot of people don't know this.
What other languages?
Polish, Russian, Czech, and whatever we call English.
Okay.
So, nobody told me one day. He was like, you English bad, and I'm like, like mine, and he goes, no, Pittsburgh, bad words, and New York different, and Miami different, and I'm like, oh yeah, we have English like that's different in every area.
What that you can share on the record? What's the funniest thing he's ever said to you?
That's a good question.
Because I've been in the presence of hearing him speak, not to the extent that you have.
You mean the funniest story, the funniest thing?
Not a story, just a line. Just give me a line.
He greets me the same way every year when he sees me, which is, Rossi, why, here, go, leave. And it's the same way every year. And then he'll come back, like he'll say, Rossi, why, here, go, leave. And then he'll come back and he'll be like, try to high five me. It'll be like, I didn't really mean. And I'm like, I got his little baby last year, his son. I got his son a Russian book of fairy tales, like Russian fairy tales in Russian. And when he got back, I was like, I know you got the book. You could have said thanks. And he goes, no. And I said, why? He goes, can't read in Russian.
All with the tone of love
Yes.
and endearment towards you.
Yes.
All right, Rob, well, explain to us here, just kind of lead us into this clip that we're going to see from Commissioner Bettman, and we'll release more of this interview as we go on, so make sure you stick it with our Twitter, Facebook, all over upgroove.com. Talking about a list that was released here with Gary Bettman.
Yeah, well, there was the NHL 100, and they speaking of Gino, they left him off the 100 greatest players list, and he was pretty upset about it. And NHL decided to bring the NHL 100 caravan to the Stadium Series game, and we thought, Mr. Commissioner, maybe we'll ask you a little bit about that. Now, be honest, how many people in town have given you guys the business about Malkin not being on the top 100?
It's interesting. Not too many, because when you analyze it, who would you take off? The one thing about the 100 greatest is you look at the list and maybe there's somebody else you'd like to see on it, and I can respect those who think Evgeni Malkin should be on it, but who would you take off? Everybody on the 100 actually deserves to be there.
And it's a passionate fan base, so that's sort of why you get into that. Like, people share their. You've probably heard from a lot of complaints from a lot of fans over the years.
Not too many complaints, because again, if you go back to it and you look at the people who are on the 100, you say, who would you take off? And there's really nobody, because they all deserve to be there.